Okay, so the first site that we're going to look at is Interactive Sites for Education. In this, you can choose all different subjects and materials, but we're going to focus on music. So once you click on music, you have a choice between 3 different areas of music that you can focus on: composition, music fun, or virtual instruments. Let's start with composition. Under composition, you have several different activities that you can have your students select to do to practice. So let's say they're working on composition. Here, you're able to give them an assignment, and they can actually create a melody with notes given to them on a staff, and it will play the music that they're creating as they're creating it. After they've created their melody, they can go back and they can push play and listen to what they've done. And if they decide they like it or they dislike it, they're able to reset it. Going back to the site, then we can have these other 4 options that we can do for composition. Now, if we were to look under virtual instruments, for example, under music fun, then we have multiple options of different areas of music, all the way from naming and labeling notes to building an orchestra or an ensemble, naming the notes on a keyboard, etc., etc. These are all fun. They're games, but they're fun programs that students would enjoy doing, and it would help reinforce materials taught in the classroom. Under virtual instruments, we have the options of looking at different instruments that are found in classrooms or in music world in general, and the student is able to select and play each of these different instruments on the computer. And that is the basis of interactive education. Now, the next site we have is Music Tech Teacher. This website is fantastic and useful for multiple different resources. As you can see here, we have several links which contain different types of material, from quizzes to study notes to building rhythms, intervals and scale practice, general concepts of musicianship. So let's take a second and look at music theory. Now, under this tab, we find several other tabs that we can click on. Most of these contain notes, like a treble clef. This is the basic notes the teacher laid out of the treble clef and the notes on the treble clef for a student to review. And then we can also click on, which is beneficial for me when teaching music, is these. We can have a student who I'm trying to teach keyboard to look at all these songs that are familiar to them and then play them on this piano right here. Now, the student doesn't have to play any of the songs listed. They can just practice their piano skills. Or, if they don't know the music, they can click on the song that's listed, and the music is actually given below this virtual keyboard, which will be playable the same as the previous. Another great tool I could use in class is under musical careers, and this just lists the purposes of music and why music is beneficial to students and what careers they could go into should they choose to continue on with music in their future. These other links also contain great notes that I could use and print out or assign to read. Now let's say we want to look at instrument families, for example. This is a fantastic quiz that I could assign to the students for practice or for a grade if I have computers in the classroom, and it actually will list different questions that the students could take. The next site that we're going to look at is Music Theory, or musictheory.net. This one I actually use in college. So here's our home screen, very basic, simply laid out. So let's click on Lessons. Here we've got several different lessons that we can choose from, and in each of these, as we'll see in just a moment, there are notes taken which fully detail and explain the concepts of each of these lessons. So if I want to assign this as take-home homework for a student to come in, they could. And under these notes, as you can see, it's well listed out, and you can actually scroll down through the notes and then click on the section and follow along where you're at. And the notes will give you visuals along with the material that you're reading. Another great topic is exercises. So let's say a student, we've got all these different options that we can choose from. If I have a student who's struggling with oral skills, we can go to interval training. And this website will actually play an interval, and you choose between the different options of what you can select. And as I just did, you can replay the interval. When you select the interval correctly, it comes up. Incorrectly, it comes up as red. And then once you finally select the correct interval, it will come up green. Now, if you just absolutely cannot tell what the interval is after so many tries and attempts, you can actually come down and select to see the correct answer and then generate a new question. And if you want to reset your score, you're able to do so as well. Though I highly discourage that because it does you no benefit to see where you've come from. And then another option we have is tools category. And this is just different tools that you can use when you're composing or working with music. And they'll, like the staff paper generator. If you're writing music, then you can generate your own staff paper. And that there is the gist of musictheory.net. I highly recommend all three of these websites to any teacher or student who's interested in musical development, or as the first website showed, development in general topic areas. All three of these are great for practice, assignment, and assessment, as shown. Feel free to explore. Websites are given.